Hello, good evening. It is Wednesday. It's getting confusing, isn't it? What days we're on this time? We were on a Monday last week. It's Wednesday this week. We will be going back to some Fridays as well. This is, of course, the Arsenal Women's Show, the original and still the best, we feel, the weekly Arsenal Women's Show on YouTube. Now, of course, tonight we are going to be celebrating the fact that we got through the little mini group stage of the Champions League, where, of course, last season we got knocked out. We've got a two-legged tie to look forward to as well. So we're going to look ahead to that. Of course, it is Häcken from Sweden. And, of course, it is the start of the new WSL season. And what a start it is as well. We are playing Manchester City at the Emirates a week on Sunday. So we're going to look into that as well. Loads and loads of great stuff. And, of course, we've got a very special guest joining us tonight, all coming out, of course, the other side of this. And it is a very special guest because look at his new name. We have got with us Lord Andreas. And this is not made up either, Andreas. Tell us all about your new title.
Good evening, everybody. Yeah, I know this is a fun thing. I'm not appointed by the king or allowed to enter the House of Lords, but yeah, it's official and it's from the House of Pierpont Archer. You can apply, and they appoint 5,000 people every year, and you're in an official registry now. Okay, it's fun, but I like it, and I'm proud of it. So.
Yeah, and we're proud to have a Lord as part of our show as well. Fantastic. So from now on, we've got to address Andreas in the correct way. It's Lord Andreas, and that's it. That's all he'll accept now going forward. So make sure in the comments, and when you see him at the games, make sure you call him Lord Andreas, because it's very important. But yeah, so obviously that's great stuff, isn't it? It's good to get involved in that kind of thing as well, isn't it? Now, as we said, it's been quite a week and a bit since we've been here. Lots has happened, and in the end, as it turned out, lots of good things. And we went a little bit of stress last weekend, but we got it done. But let's go back, of course, first of all, to the very first game a week tonight. It was, of course, Rangers visiting Meadow Park, and in the end, it turned out to be a very, very good night. And just before we get talking about the game, of course, Greg's there said, "Evening, my lord." There you go. You see, that's the correct way to address Andreas going forward now. So well done, Greg. Thanks for that. But yeah, of course, Rangers, and in the end, we got the job done pretty comfortably, didn't we? 6-0. Of course, it was Fordy's night, wasn't it? 4 goals for her, incredible. But it was, we got the early goal, and I thought that was going to settle us down and we'd go on and win. We did win comfortably in the end, but I thought we'd go on and get the job done early on. But of course, it took a little while. And as we'll speak about on the Rosenborg game a little bit later, getting that second goal early in the second half, you can see the difference that made. After that, we got the third straight away, and then it was comfortable, wasn't it? Easy street, lovely football. Some great goals as well, really well made and well taken goals, and put us in a great frame of mind, obviously, for the final at the weekend. I mean, Andreas, you was there, of course, at Meadow Park. We got your fantastic vlog. But what did you make of the performance? Because I think there was some nerves around, and obviously more so on Saturday. But it was good to get the job done in the end so convincingly, wasn't it?
Yeah, of course, there were nerves in the team. Everybody was excited, and the team too, because they knew how important this mini tournament is. And the good thing against Rangers was the early goal. We were 1-0 up, and yeah, I think everybody expected us to score at least a second goal before halftime, because we were dominating. I don't think that Rangers had a shot on goal over the whole 90 minutes. We controlled everything, and even if Rangers had the ball, we won it back pretty soon. We controlled every part of the game and created chances, but we couldn't score a second. So at halftime, to be honest, I was a bit nervous, because I had seen the match in the afternoon, Atletico versus Rosenborg, and it was a similar situation. Atletico was 1-0 up at halftime, and Rosenborg had no chance. Their first chance was in the 90 or 91st minute. Was it a cross or a set piece? And they scored the equalizer in stoppage time. So at halftime, I was thinking, oh, please don't let this happen to us. But then there was the second, and within a minute, the third goal, and yeah, the match was brought to bed. Then I think even the second goal, and then we were convinced. Everybody was convinced that's it, because you can always concede one goal. Rangers could score out of nothing, but they were not. It was no sign that they could score twice against us. How should they do this? So the second goal was decisive, and then 2 minutes later the third, and then you could really feel the relief by every player. Everybody knew that's it. We are through, and now let's make some changes. Jonas brought in the subs, and let's try something and prepare for the final. With the third goal, with 3-0 up, everything was said and done. And the good thing is that the team didn't stop. They wanted to score more. You could really see they wanted the next goal. I mean, it was 4, they wanted the 5th. And after the penalty, they didn't stop. They went forward again and tried again, and then there was the 6th goal. For Rangers, it was pity. It was if they lost 3-0, 4-0 would have been enough, because they were trying everything. They were trying their best, and you could see it's a half professional team, and the Scottish League is not more than mid-table than Championship in England. So the 6-0 was really okay, and was good for the self-confidence. The performance in the second half was very good, and I think it helped us for Saturday to have this from the scoreline, this big win. This was very useful for Saturday, and they were playing a deep block, so we knew the same will wait for us on Saturday against Rosenborg, and we broke this deep block. So everything was really, really good, and just a successful evening last Wednesday.
It was, it couldn't have gone any better, could it really? Let's be honest. I mean, there was obviously the tension before because of last year, and to get the job done and so convincingly. And I think you're right. But although obviously it was a great win, a great performance, some great goals. My slight concern at the time, and it maybe played out a little bit afterwards, was that, as you mentioned there, and although that technically that's a good thing, it's also, as its negative side, is that we didn't relax until it was 2 and 3-0, and we don't always, as we were about to discover, we don't always get that second goal. Last season, we didn't always get that second goal, and we saw what the result of that can be. Losing games, and we can't afford to. We need to be able to manage a game better, I think, at 1-0. And sometimes, as we managed to get through on Saturday, but accepting sometimes 1-0 is okay because you win the game, rather than being so determined to get the second and the third goals or whatever it is that you end up leaving yourself more vulnerable, which we will talk about more on Saturday's game because it's more relevant to that. But it struck me at the time, this was even before we'd played Rosenborg, that that seemed to be the case. We looked very, very tense until the second goal. And last season, that happened a lot. We were very tense until the game was won. And quite often last season, unfortunately, we didn't get to that stage enough because we conceded a goal and it was 1-1, or we were losing when we should have been winning, missing chances. But ultimately, we got the job done in a comfortable way. And of course, Caitlin Foord, she gets, I think, a little bit of criticism. Maybe a lot of people maybe don't think she's quite at the level that we need. And yes, okay, you could say, as you mentioned, Rangers are probably a championship level side. They're not, they're not one of the top level teams in Europe, but to score 4 goals in any competitive game, particularly in the Champions League game, is a great sort of achievement. And the fact is that some of them goals, I mean, the third one in particular she scored, the volley, was just incredible. What a great goal that was. But I thought all the goals were different in their own way, but they were sort of, I mean, you know, she got that header at the first one, which, okay, the goalie maybe was a little bit all over the place for that one, but, you know, the way that the goals were different, wasn't they? Different types of goals. And I thought that was really good. And her performance overall was really, really good. And do you think it's because maybe she's under a little bit more pressure now with obviously Mariona coming in, who might well be playing on that left-hand side when Beth's fit? Do you think that maybe Caitlin's thinking, you know what, I'm going to have to step my game up here? And what better way to do it than score 4 goals in the first game of the season?
I don't think so. I think the first goal helped her. And the fact is she was playing out of position on the right wing. Normally
yes,
she's on the left wing. So when I saw the lineup, I was a bit astonished. I thought, oh, Caitlin on the right wing. But she did it good, and she changed positions with Mariona. Sometimes Caitlin was on the left and Mariona went on the right wing. So, of course, the first goal helped her for her self-confidence. She's not the number 9, but we know that she can go inside the box, and she is there if there opens a chance for her. And technically, the third goal from Caitlin was fantastic. And I don't think she would have scored this one and the 6-0 in a game in which she had maybe missed 3 big chances or so. It's a mental thing, and and a thing of self-confidence, and it helped her playing out of position and scoring. And then sometimes everything went by herself. You have such matches when no matter what you do, everything works. And this was such a match for her. We need every player, and we need every winger, because I think we are a bit short with wingers. So it's very important that Caitlin showed, I'm there. I will have a good season, and I'm able to play on the left and on the right wing. This was something new for me, probably not for Jonas. Otherwise, he wouldn't have tried this. But that's very good, and this helped us. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, and you're right. I mean, we need all our forward players to be firing this season, don't we? But after what happened last season, you know, as we've said, so it is a great confidence boost for any player, and I'll say particularly for Caitlin, because I do feel that she does come in for quite a bit of stick sometimes, and you know, she's maybe not always appreciated as much as some of the other players in the team for one reason or another. I don't know why, because she always gives 100%. She, you know, every single game, you know, she gives everything. And it doesn't always come off. And yes, she doesn't maybe score as many goals overall as she maybe could do. And I think that's maybe a fair criticism if there is one of her. But, you know, maybe, you know, starting the season with 4 goals, maybe this season is going to be different. And maybe she will score some more goals than she has done before. And I think Mariona creating chances is going to help as well. Obviously, she's going to create a lot more chances for everybody. But no, I was pleased for Caitlin, actually, because, you know, I think she needed a game like that. I think for Arsenal to really show what she's capable of doing, and so early in the season as well. I think that's good, and hopefully, she can go on now and have a really good season, which, you know, we hope they all do. Every single player, we want to have a good season, but so it's particularly nice when one of your forward players that maybe has had a little bit of criticism comes up with the goods and does the job and gets us through. It wasn't just her, but she obviously got the star performer, didn't she, with 4 goals? I mean, wow, incredible. We've got Angie in the chat says, good evening, Rich and Lord Andreas. There you go. You see, it's catching on. Darren says, Sir Rich and Lord. Well, there you go. That could be a good title for the show, actually, couldn't it? I quite like that one. But there you go. I'm not sure I deserve my title. Andreas obviously deserves his, so you know it's the way, isn't it? Andrew said, hit a like, indeed, hit the like, please, guys. Russ says, evening, chaps, and yourself, mate, you're doing well. Good to see you all, and don't forget to get your comments if you've got any questions about the Rangers game, about anything to do with the women's team over the last few weeks. Let us know, and we can we'll give you our thoughts. Rangers was good. We got that particular job done, but of course, a year ago we did win the first game quite comfortably as well. So I wasn't getting too excited quite yet. And as Andreas sort of mentioned there, it was a surprise team that we were going to face in the final. We all expected it to be Atletico, and that was who we'd anticipated, and that was who we maybe expected it to be. But shocks do happen in football, and they certainly did. And instead, we were facing the team from Norway. And I suppose it was kind of maybe written in the stars that Frida would score the goal against Rosenborg, I suppose. But I mean, it was the first half of that game was almost a carbon copy of the first half of the Rangers game. You know, total Arsenal domination, an early-ish goal, a few more chances created and missed. And at halftime, it's 1-0. I know we spoke at halftime during the game, and I think, you know, we both kind of felt that, like the Rangers game, we need to get that second goal, settle us down, and then we'll go on and win comfortably. But on this particular occasion, that wasn't quite the way it worked out, was it? We didn't get the second goal. It didn't come, despite some chances in the second half hitting the woodwork a few times, and, you know, it just wouldn't quite happen. And I felt as though it got to a stage where we're almost trying to force it a little bit. And, you know, you could see there was some nerves coming in because of what had happened last year, and you could feel the tension from the players, and, you know, misplaced passes sometimes, and making not always the right decision in the final third. Some of our build-up play was really good, especially in the first half, really good, moving the ball quickly. But in the second half, I just felt that we didn't get that second goal, and suddenly we almost lost our way. And Rosenborg had one or two chances, and I was a bit nervous. They didn't really look like they were going to score necessarily. They had a couple of efforts from outside the box and what have you, but I was just worried. Obviously, you'd seen their game on before against Atletico, and they'd sneaked a goal at the end at 1-0 down, and that was in my mind for most of that second half. Actually, if we don't get this second goal, what's to stop them scoring a late goal like they did the other night? And then suddenly we've got extra time, and we saw last year, I was maybe more nervous maybe than I needed to be. I don't know. It felt really that second half seemed to go on forever. And every time Rosenborg came forward, even though they'd never really looked like creating much, I was nervous that they were going to score. I mean, what was it like in the ground? Because the atmosphere sounded amazing, actually. And obviously you captured that in the vlog as well. But I felt really nervous in that second half because we just didn't get that second goal. And we've seen it before, as we said, so many times. And it's like, please don't let them score.
Yeah. One thing, before the match, I was much more confident or optimistic playing against Rosenborg than against Atletico. I think this was, as you said, this was a shock that happened on Wednesday. Atletico was the second best team in this tournament, but they didn't reach the final. And after their match against Rangers, I was at Meadow Park for this match too. They won comfortably 3-0. Some of the Atletico players were crying, and they couldn't stop crying because they all knew what a big chance they had thrown away in stoppage time on Wednesday. Nobody could say, would we beat Atletico? Would they have beaten us? Yeah, football is always about the moment, and in this moment we had to play against Rosenborg. But Atletico, I think, would have been a much stronger opponent, or a stronger task for us. So, but about the Rosenborg game, 1-0 up at halftime, a very dominant first half. I said it at halftime when I came on to the show. The first half was very, very good, and it was only the question, when can we score the second goal? And the same feeling as for the Rangers match. If we score a second, then the thing is said and done. They won't score twice against us. And all through the second half, we were dominant. We were creating chances and always trying. We never stopped trying. This is very good. But from all these chances we created, or moments we created also in the box, we should be able to score a goal. What's still poor, in my opinion, is our set pieces, our corners.
Yes.
Most of our corners were taken as short corners. I don't understand this. You play a short corner, then you see, they are pressing. You play backwards, and from a corner we have, the ball is going back to Manu. Why can't we train set pieces or corners in training? Do we have a new set piece coach? He hasn't changed anything, and that's a problem. Of course, we hit the crossbar twice within 2 minutes or 1 minute. Yeah, there was a header from Alessia. I remember there were chances from Oriana, from Frida, but yeah, chances and dominance, everything. But we must learn to score more goals, to be more ruthless in front of goal, because a better team could use the situation being only 1-0 down, and use one chance, one cross, one set piece, and then there is the equalizer, and then the nerves would go.
Exactly.
Yeah, it would have been terrible if they equalized and we have to go to extra time, because everybody in the team would have thought 1 year back when we have to go to extra time and play 3-3, and then penalty shootout. Rosenborg won the penalties against Atletico. This was really dangerous, but over the second half, we always controlled the match, and I think we saw very good performances from Mariana, from Kyra, and from Laia Codina. For me, Cody was the best defender in both matches, and like she said in the press conference, you can feel how settled she is now, and how settled she feels within the team, and the pace she has when Rosenborg was trying a counter-attack. Cody is always with such a pace there that she gets back the ball. Also Mariana is not the player in defense with a lot of pace. Cody was a few times helping Mariana to get the ball back. So very, very good performance from her. And for the attacking side, I think some things must scale together in the next weeks. You could see how some things already work, but on the other hand, I realized that Mariana wanted the ball much more often, or wanted quicker passes. She wants to, this Barcelona style pass, and then suddenly there's an open space and the pass into this space, and it's a bit too slow for her. So this they must find together, and then there are a lot of possibilities, and it gives a lot of hopes how we performed. And the good thing is we never set back and try to defend the 1-0. We always tried to score the second. I think this was also positive from the team.
Yeah, no, it was. And my biggest frustration from that game, more than anything, was we had so many opportunities to put a cross in, and whether it was a set piece or just in open play, and we didn't tend to do it very often. And yet the goal came from a cross, which the goalkeeper made a bit of a meal of, and that was how we scored the goal. And I kept saying during the game, especially in the second half, when we got the ball out wide, whip a cross in, because that's how we scored the goal. I'm not saying do it every single time. You've got to mix your play up. You've got to be able to, make different attacks and not be predictable. But there were so many opportunities when you said, just whip a ball in. Katie's got the ball on the left-hand side, whip it in. No, but we didn't want to. We wanted to pass it back and go sideways. And, sometimes I felt we made extra passes that we maybe didn't need to make. We could have got the ball into the box a little bit sooner at times. And it did lead to the goal that we scored. And we may have scored that second goal had we done that a little bit more. We had a few chances from crosses in the second half as well, didn't we? In the bar and stuff like that. So I was a little bit frustrated we didn't do that a little bit more. But you can see that there's sort of happening is a slight evolution in the way that we're playing, and maybe that's partly to do with Mariona coming in, as you say. She wants to see us passing the ball quicker. I thought in the first half we did that really well. Nice little quick passes on the edge of the box, created opportunities, created space. And then in the second half, we maybe struggled to maintain that same kind of style, and it became a little bit more like the style that we've seen previously, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But in this particular game, it didn't quite work. We're overplaying it and whatever. But maybe it was a good thing that we in those two games that we've had, we'll see what effect it has on us as we go forward. But maybe the fact that they were two games in a way that had a lot of similarities, the opposition setting up in a very similar way, but also they were different in the fact that against Rangers, we got the second goal relaxed and went on and scored a load more. And in the second game, we wasn't able to do that, and we had to still find a way to win that game. And we did. Not in the most convincing of fashions in the end. The last 10 minutes was quite nervy, actually, because, you know, you could see the players look, not so much the crowd, but the players look quite tense in those last sort of 5-10 minutes. But we got the job done. And, you know, that is the most important thing in a knockout game. We said it before, I'll take a 1-0 in any knockout game every single day of the week because it means you're through to the next round and it doesn't matter too much. But obviously, there's things to work on and things that need to be improved, but it's still quite early, isn't it? Technically, this is still pre-season when you think about it. And we've had to play these competitive games. We've got more competitive games to come. And it's maybe going to do us good in the long run, but we need to improve one or two aspects of our play into the next games, and hopefully we will, because we've got some time. Darren says there, he said it was nice to meet you on Saturday, Lord A. Yes, of course, you met Darren, didn't you? You was telling us about that, which was great. So yeah, I mean, obviously, if you see Andreas at any game anywhere, do say hello, because he does. He enjoys it. It was good to meet Darren, wasn't it?
Yeah, of course. I always appreciate when somebody recognizes me and says hello. And yeah, and now I saw that my matchday vlog has over 430 views.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. I mean, I'm trying to catch the atmosphere, and if you our viewers like this, yeah, it's the best I can have. And so I was happy when Darren said, "I know you from the show." Fantastic, yeah. But all in all, the atmosphere at Meadow Park, it was outstanding and extraordinary. And I think this showed how important the home advantage in this mini tournament is.
Yes.
I don't know if we played in Norway against Rosenborg. I don't know whether we won 1-0. The crowd at Meadow Park was fantastic, and chanting 90 minutes and very loud, and I think it helped the players to go forward and try again. So it was a combination of the team and the supporters in the stands, the home advantage, the belief that this 100% will in the team after last year's experience, that everybody wanted to go through this tournament and wants to be in Champions League. And so, yeah, one added to the other, and in the end, it was enough. Yeah, but I would have preferred a second goal, and then relax and sit back. But anyway, when everything went okay and it's a happy end, so the 1-0 was, we celebrated, and the whole stadium was singing and chanting. You could see maybe on the Arsenal homepage this access all areas.
Yeah.
Just fantastic. And Mariona didn't realize at the beginning that this was all about her. But I think in Barcelona she had never experienced this atmosphere as in Meadow Park. And once again, the atmosphere helped to go through to win this match.
Absolutely, yeah, and I think that's going to be really, really important this season. Is it with so many more games at the Emirates as well? If we can get 45, 50, 60,000 fans coming regularly to the games, I think that's going to be a massive advantage to us. We saw last season that our results at the Emirates were really good overall after a shaky start. And I'm sure that we can carry that into this season. That's going to be so important. And also as well, you know, when we're away from home, we have such big support. Quite often we've got more fans in the stadium than the home team quite often at the away games, and they almost feel like a home game. And that's going to be so important as well, because obviously last season we know we had a few issues in some of our away games that we dropped the points that were crucial, and this season we're going to have to be better. But yeah, no, the fans are so important, and it's been great, hasn't it, over the last 2 or 3 years in particular, to see the way that it's changed. You know, I can remember not even that long ago going to games at Meadow Park, and you didn't really get any chanting or songs and the fans singing, really. You got some cheering when good things happened and goals were scored and this, that, and the other, but you didn't really get what you would consider to be like a football atmosphere. It wasn't really like that, was it? And that wasn't even that long ago. And now, you know, you're getting, it's almost like, you know, I know that there's been some strange comparisons between the men's game and the women's game, which we don't really need to be comparing it with. But in terms of the atmosphere now, you're getting an atmosphere at the Arsenal women's games, which is very, very similar to a Premier League kind of atmosphere now. And that's fantastic because it very, very recently, it wasn't anywhere near like that. And yeah, you're absolutely right. The team are going to need the fans even more this season if we're going to be successful with all the games we've got at the Emirates. So yeah, it is great that it started in such a positive way. And I'm sure it's going to get, you know, if the team can really get a good start and a good run in the season going, I think it's going to be even more crazy, isn't it? I mean, it's going to be brilliant. So, yeah, that's definitely important. And says their biggest frustration for me was out an Arsenal app not work. Yeah, the Arsenal app didn't, at the beginning, it didn't work, did it? I mean, it did for me eventually. I found some YouTube stream of it, which I think Terry had directed me to. But yeah, the Arsenal app, I don't know what was wrong with it. It wasn't playing at the beginning for me at all. I couldn't get onto it for about half an hour, 20 minutes. And then it did finally start working. But yeah, that wasn't great. I don't know what was happening. Arsenal need to sort that out because, you know, if they're streaming the game, it's important that they can stream it. People can watch it because that it creates more interest and creates more people wanting to, you know, get involved in the game. So yeah, that was frustrating. You're right. I mean, I don't know whether or not you ever got onto it, Hans, in the end, but I know it did start working for me eventually. But yeah, not ideal at all. As they relied on X and BBC Sport app. Well, that's no good, is it? You don't want to be relying on those two particular places for your updates, really, do you? So, but yeah, that wasn't great, and hopefully Arsenal can put that right going forward because they need to improve that app in general anyway. I think, you know. But that's maybe another story. Greg says Cody was immense the second half. Yeah, we mentioned her. She was brilliant. I thought she was brilliant all game, actually. Just so calm, composed, strong, good with the ball. Just fantastic. Yeah. And says, my birthday twin, Cody. Is she? Oh, fantastic. Look at that. You see? How good is that? Greg says, luckily, no decent shots on target second half with Zins in goal. Well, this is a thing, isn't it? Right. And I must admit, you know, everyone knows my feelings on Daphne, and I want her to be in goal for us because I think she's brilliant. But you know, keeping these clean sheets is obviously good, but it's a double-edged sword because if we don't concede any goals, there's no way he's changing the goalkeeper. Absolutely, the number one. Whether or not she doesn't have to save any shots, if she keeps keeping clean sheets, Daphne's not going to get a chance yet, is she? So in a way, it's almost like let's go 5-0 up and let Zinsberger make a couple of mistakes, concede a couple of soft goals, and that gives Daphne a chance, and then we're flying, aren't we? But yeah, we've got Ryan in for the Mr. Arsenal podcast. How are you, my friend? Hope you're doing well. We'll have to actually, we'll have to sort of join up again at some point, definitely. And says, patiently waiting to see Daphne go. Yes, absolutely. I am as well. Absolutely can't wait to see her playing. Greg says, the sooner DVD and goal, the better. Yeah, I totally agree. Ryan says, yeah, agree, Greg. I'll be more at ease once we have DVD and goal as the number one. Exactly, yeah, absolutely, 100%. I mean, I think most of us want this to happen, and I mean it will do. I don't think there's any question about that. We haven't bought Daphne to be on the bench to be the number two. We have bought Daphne to be number one. There's no doubt in my mind, and it is only a matter of time. She will get a chance one way or the other. She'll get a chance, whether it's in hopefully with the Champions League group games that we will be in. Hopefully she might get a chance in there, and then I'm sure she'll show exactly what she's about, and it's going to be difficult to leave her out of the team as far as I can see once she's in there. Greg says they're referring to Andreas's vlogs. He says, keep them coming, my lord, indeed. I'm sure you will be keeping them coming as well. Darren says, is Lord A going to Sweden? Are you going to Sweden? You won't be going to the away game, will you?
No, unfortunately, I can't be there, neither in Sweden nor for the second leg in Meadow Park. No. It's too much. Well, I'll be in London for the Man City WSL opener, and the other game is 3 days later, so it's too. I would need too much holiday or staying in London and flying home on Monday and returning on Wednesdays. Yeah, it's too close. I will sit at home and watch it on some live stream and be totally nervous, more nervous than in the stadium. It's much better to be live there, and it's a better feeling. You see the whole you can see the whole pitch. You see every movement better, and on TV it's only this part of the match what you're seeing. And for me, it's I'm much more nervous in front of TV. So therefore, I try to make all 11 WSL matches this season, but this means I can't do every cup match. I would love to, but
yeah, it's a shame. It is a shame. But no, you're right. Absolutely. I do feel as though you maybe quite often you feel less nervous when you're in the stadium, I think, than when you're not, because like you said, you can't see everything on the screen. You only see probably, I don't know, 40% of the pitch really at any one time. Sometimes it's not even as much as that, is it? So it's difficult to get the feel of exactly what's happening to a certain degree. You kind of see what they allow you to see, I suppose. But yeah, it's it is what it is. Unfortunately, you won't be able to be there for that particular game. But anyway, I'm sure you'll enjoy it anyway as much as you can enjoy it. When it's obviously going to be a nervy game, where we'll talk about that obviously as well. And says no, but I did watch playback on format. Yeah, you can watch the full match afterwards, but yeah, it is terrible that you can't watch it. Ryan says they're disappointed with the Arsenal website. Saturday servers clearly can't deal with the demand, which is in 2024. Yeah, no, absolutely. And this is something, isn't it? They've got to sort that out. And it's all very well, thinking, well, they're not allowed to stream the men's games due to TV rights and one thing or another. So they're not used to streaming games on the website, are they? Because it's not something that they've generally been able to do very often. And obviously with the women's team now, it's something that for the time being, they're going to be able to do for certain games. So it is something they need to, exactly. It is 2024. There's no real excuses, is there? We know the sort of audience that Arsenal women have got. And if they're showing a game free on the website, they're going to know that people are going to want to watch it in their hundreds of thousands, and they need to have that sorted out. But let's hope that they can fix the problems. And when they do show another game, I don't know with the Hacken game, will that be the same? I would imagine it will be, won't it? Will that be on the website? And obviously it might be on DAZN YouTube. Maybe I couldn't find it on DAZN actually the other night for the Rosenborg game. I don't know what happened with that. But
I think the zone only has the right for the group stage and the following rounds, not for the qualifiers, as far as I know. So I hope that Arsenal will stream it, or some independent company does it on YouTube. I hope we can see it. Maybe Hacken will make a live stream, but the zone has not got the rights, as far as I know.
Yeah, I couldn't find the Rosenborg game on there at all. So yeah, you're probably right. So Arsenal website, you need to sort it out before the Hacken games, because what we don't want is, obviously there's going to be, certainly the away game in particular, there's going to be much more demand to watch the game, because there's not going to be many Arsenal fans going over to Sweden. I wouldn't imagine. There'll be some, obviously, but majority of people are going to want to be watching it at home. So they need to sort that out. If that's the only way we can watch the game, they need to have that sorted out, and very quickly, because the game's next week. So whatever needs to be done, get a better internet, whatever you got to do whatever you need to do, get it sorted out so that we can all watch the game and no one is going to be frustrated and throwing things at the screen because it's not working, which is what I was tempted to do on Saturday when it wouldn't work. But I'll say we managed to find a YouTube channel that was showing it. So we managed to watch it until the website decided it would work. Greg says their transfer window closes Friday. It does. Still need cover for Kim and Wolsey. Yes, we do. And we definitely need one more player in, without a doubt. And yes, I suppose if you're looking at one more position now, when you look through the squad, that midfield kind of position is the one, isn't it? With Kim and Wally's injury record in the last couple of seasons, you've got to start saying, are we going to get a full season out of both of them? Probably not. So yes, Kyra obviously is a great player. Vicky's going to be a big loss because she would have been one of the answers there. So yeah, I do think we do need somebody there, and I do think we're going to get somebody there. So I'm still confident we will. I know there's not much time left of the window. Isn't it later than Friday? Isn't it like Monday or something? It shuts the window. I can't remember exactly. I think it might be the 16th.
16th, and this would be Monday. What?
Yeah, I think it's Monday. Yeah, so we still got time. Let's not panic yet about it. But yeah, we do need. I agree. We do need. Obviously, there's still talk of Kira Walsh. I'm not sure Kira Walsh is coming, is she, Andreas? Do you think? Well, yeah, pray. It'd be nice. Do you think she will? I'm not convinced.
No, I think she would like to return to England, as far as I read. But the some of or the amount Barca is asking for, it's too high. Yeah, Arsenal is interested, but yesterday I read Chelsea is also interested. I mean, Chelsea is interested in every player.
Yeah,
They buy every player that's possible, and then they are looking. Oh, do we need her? Or no? Then let's send them on loan or so. But yeah, if a window opens for a Kira Walsh deal, I think we have a chance. Her best friend is Leah Williamson, and she wants to return to England. So I don't know whether she would want to play at Chelsea. She was dating Lucy Bronze. Lucy is back at Chelsea. Yeah, I don't think whether this is important, but maybe when she has to make the decision, I think we have a good chance. But on the other side, I don't think it will happen in this window. Maybe in the January window, when Barca realizes there will be no contract extension for Kira, and she will leave in next summer for free. Maybe in January they will lower the price they are asking for. I agree that we would need a midfielder or a winger, and as I understand, Tim Stillman, Arsenal is working on another deal. They want one more signing. It's 4 days now. It will, if something happens, then it will be a last minute deal like last season with Kyra. Nobody knew that we are interested in Kyra, and on the last day, a few minutes before the transfer window closed, we had all papers ready. Maybe some surprising deal will happen. It would be good for the squad depth.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, I mean, I think that would. If we do get a player in that position, especially if it's a really top player, then I do feel as though that will complete the squad ready for the season, and we've got cover in all areas, and we shouldn't have too many worries. Okay, yes, if we were to suffer the injuries that we suffered a couple of years ago, then there's no getting around that for anyone. It's just the way it is. But I would say that if we do get one more midfield player in, then the squad pretty much is as strong as we could hope it to be in every position, really, isn't it? We've got cover everywhere, and good quality cover as well, not just players who can come in, it's actually good quality players as well. So, it's looking good. But yes, I would like, if we don't get anybody else in, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I still think we've got a great squad, and I still think we're going to have a great season. But yes, it would be nice to just get that one extra one in, wouldn't it? And Tim Stillman's generally pretty on the ball. So hopefully, I'm sure they are working on getting a player in. Let's hope they can get it done. And we can add that one more player now rather than wait until, like you said, potentially January, which will be good, but it might be a little bit late if halfway through the season in the WSL. Certainly, as we've said before, you can't afford to drop too many points, because you don't have the time to make him back up again. So let's get this done now, whoever it is, if it's Kira, if it's someone else. But yeah, let's get it done in next week, and let's be celebrating a brand new signing as well to add to all the other great stuff that's happened in the last week or so that we've enjoyed, obviously, watching the team. Darren says, Greg, obvious cover is Walsh. Yeah, keep praying. Exactly. That's what we're all going to be doing, aren't we, for the next few days? I think Kira Walsh is the dream, absolutely, because we know what a fantastic player she is. Darren says if she goes to Chelsea or City, we may have to pack up and go home. No, she won't go to Chelsea or City. Absolutely not. I agree with that. I think if she comes back to England, she will come to Arsenal. And I think that there's several reasons for that. Obviously, Leah Williamson being one of them. I think Marion has been telling her, come to Arsenal, it's great fun. We can we can play out together again and all this kind of stuff. So I think it's all set up for Kira Walsh. It's just, can we get the deal done now? Have we got the money to do it? Is that available? Can we get it done? Let's hope so. But let's wait and see. We've got 4 or 5 days left in the window. Let's hope for the best, and who knows? Maybe we'll be sitting here next week quite chuffed with how things are going and stuff like that. Dara says, when are you leaving your Geordie Palace and coming to a game? We were actually hoping to be coming to the Man City game. That was our original plan, but unfortunately 1 or 2 things have changed, and we're not able to get down for that one now, which is a shame. But we'll obviously arrange. We'll be down for a few, hopefully a few games this season, home and away games. I'm hoping to get to 1 or 2 away games as well. But unfortunately, the City game now we can't make, which I'm really disappointed about, because I was really looking forward to that one. But unfortunately, life sometimes doesn't always plan out the way you hope it will, and you can't always get to do all the great things that you want. But I will be down soon, don't worry. And I say, when I am there, it'd be great to meet up with all you guys as well. Ryan says, I reckon it will be the same. The website. Yeah, it probably will be. I'm hoping it won't, but you are probably right. But let's see. Greg says it's time for Arsenal to prove they're serious about the women and break the bank. Yeah, I mean, that's what we'd have to do, obviously. But let's see what happens. At this moment in time, I think we've put together a really good squad, a really well balanced squad, and if we can get this one more done, brilliant. But let's see what happens. That's all we can do, isn't it? And pray that something good arrives in the post in the next week or so. That the postman's going to be good to us. And of course, next week, it doesn't seem like we've only just got through the little knockout tournament, and now we've got a 2-legged tie to come. Of course, the draw was on Monday, and it could actually have been worse. So I think we need to be reasonably happy with the draw. So Häcken it is, of course, from Sweden, as we know. And looking at who we could have got, I don't feel that we've done too badly out of it. I'm not taking anyone for granted, definitely not. But I feel that it's been a good draw, and I'm fairly confident over 2 legs we should be too strong for Häcken, and we should be able to go through. But as we know, anything can happen. But I mean, Andreas, what do you make of the draw? Are you pretty happy with it overall? It could have been worse, couldn't it? Let's be honest.
It could have been worse. I think Juve and Paris FC would be more difficult, but it could have been better. Sporting Lisbon and Fiorentina are probably better draws, and so it's in the middle of what was possible. Don't forget, Häcken was in the group stage last season. They beat Real Madrid twice, and as far as I remember, they had 1 draw against Chelsea. So it's a really dangerous team. The good thing for us is that they lost a lot of good players, including Rosa Kafaji. We know where she went, unfortunately. It's not the same team that was performing so well in last year's Champions League, but they are in the middle of their season, and still they will be a dangerous team and difficult to beat. I don't expect too high scores like the Rangers game. It will be 2 very tough and close matches. Maybe a draw away at Sweden, and then we will seal the deal at home at Meadow Park. The good thing is that we have the second leg at home, and as I said, the atmosphere which I experienced last week, this is a real big plus for us, and this could help if things are very close, but it won't be easy. We play away at Häcken, then we play Man City, and then we play at home against Häcken, and have still already in mind the next WSL match 3 days later away at Leicester. It's a very tough week, or 1.5 week. But I'm sure the team will be concentrated, and everybody wants to go through. We have the better squad, and we have the the abilities and the possibility to go through. Yeah, we have to be concentrated, not underestimate Häcken. Just think on last season. I'm sure Real Madrid thought, okay, against Häcken we will get 2 wins, and they lost twice. So take them serious and give them the respect they deserve. They are in the knockout stage like we are, so they deserve respect. And yeah, I hope that Rosa will have some good tips for us. She can tell a lot about the team, how they are playing. Jonas is Swedish. He knows about the style from Swedish teams. A lot of small advantages for us, and so we should go through.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it's, the fact that it is a Swedish team, we've got a Swedish coach, we've got a couple of ex-Häcken players in our squad. It's kind of a good draw for us in that sense as well, isn't it? And if any team is going to be prepared to play a team from Sweden, it's going to be us. And of course, we've had some great Champions League moments against teams from Sweden in the past, haven't we? One, of course, in particular, which I'm sure we don't need to be reminded of. So yes, I mean, it is. I'm happy with a draw. I'm really happy with a draw. I think it's a great opportunity for us to go through. I mean, to be honest with you, looking at the rest of the teams, I would have felt fairly confident against pretty much anyone because I've got belief in this team. But yes, I think Juventus would have been a very, very difficult one at this point in the season. I'm glad we avoided them. But yeah, it's a decent draw. I'm looking forward to the 2 games. Actually, I think it's going to be exciting. And it is going to be, they are going to be tight games. I agree. I don't think we should go through, but I think it's going to be difficult. I actually got a feeling, and I don't know why, that we will maybe sneak a win in the away leg first, maybe like a 1-0 or a 2-1. And then we may only get a draw at home and sort of hanging on a little bit. I got a feeling it could be that sort of a tie, actually. But I do think we'll go through. And we will give a score prediction actually in a minute as well. Darren says their thoughts on Rosa. She is a baller for sure. Yeah, I mean, what we've seen of her so far, which isn't as much as we maybe like to have done. I'd like to have seen her come on against Rosenborg, of course, on Saturday. But she looks an incredible player, so talented, so creative on the ball. She can spot a pass, she can open up defenses, and I think that in this season that's coming up, that is going to be massively, massively important for us. And whether she'll start many games at the start or whether she'll be coming off the bench to have that impact, as she did against Rangers, for example, then I think that might be more the case in the early part of the season. But yeah, I mean, what a player she looks. And if she can really settle in quickly to the pace of the WSL and stuff like that, she is going to be a really important player. I mean, Andreas, what have you made of her so far? Because we've not seen that much of her yet. We've seen some great stuff already, but, do you think she's going to maybe start on the bench and work her way in and maybe come off and have an impact from the bench to start with and then, go from there and see what she can do?
Yeah, what I've seen from her in these preseason matches in the USA and against Southampton, I think she's pretty comfortable at the ball. She is someone who has this surprising ideas, opening passes. She risks something with her passes, and I don't think she will be a starter at the first matches, but during the season she will definitely become a starter very, very often. And don't forget, she's only 21 years young. Yes. She had her breakthrough last season, real breakthrough. Before she had a serious injury, what cost her, I think, 1 year of her career, and the World Cup. But now she's regular in the Swedish national team, and I'm sure she will be a starter very often during the season. And even if she's coming from the bench, she can produce this surprising moment. And against Häcken, as I said, she knows exactly how Häcken is playing, and this could be a big advantage because she can find the spaces by knowing the system Häcken is playing. Although it's not exactly the same team, as they lost some players, but Rosa can be important the Hacken game, and during the season I expect a lot from her. What I saw so far, yeah, it gives me real hopes that she will be a very good addition to the team.
Exactly, yeah. And, I wouldn't necessarily say that creativity was our biggest problem last season. We created a lot of chances, but obviously with her and Mariona, I think we're going to see creating different types of chances and having that unpredictability that we maybe didn't have before. There was a lot of games last season where, although we dominated the play, we did sometimes get to become predictable, didn't we, in what we were doing? And maybe sometimes that might have been why it didn't always work. But having a player like Rosa who can do something unexpected, I think that could be really, really crucial in some of those really, really tight games, when there's not much to choose between teams, the big games and stuff like that. If she can produce little moments of magic, we've seen some of the Chelsea players have done that over the years, haven't they? Guru Wrighton, for example, can pop up in a big game and do something different and win them a game. And that's something that I think we've maybe lacked a little bit in the last couple of seasons. And having her and, of course, Mariona now, I do think that we've now got that. And I think that is going to be really important. But, yeah, I think she's going to have to be a little bit patient with her time on the pitch to begin with. Because, like you said, she's only young, and I can see her being on the bench. But we've seen, haven't we, with this team, how important the substitutes are and coming into the game, what impact they often make, the substitutes, don't they? Last season in particular, so many times we had players coming off the bench, and Stina being the biggest example, so many times came off the bench, scored an important goal. And I think Rosa could have that impact as well to begin with. And then who knows, if she keeps doing that, you imagine she's going to start games a lot more regularly. But we'll have to see, because she does look, as Anne says there, Rosa has serious potential from what we've seen. Indeed, she does, real serious potential. And let's be patient with her as well, because she is young, she's just coming into the league. It's not going to be necessarily easy for her. She's looked good in the friendlies, but the WSL is a different kettle of fish. The level's going up again. So let's see. But let's be patient with her. But I do feel as though she is going to be a real special player for us. I really do. So I'm looking forward to seeing how she develops. Greg says, I'll play her instead of Marnham. Marnham stands around too much for me. It's a tough one, isn't it? Because I can see why Jonas likes Marnham so much. He plays her a lot, doesn't he? And you can kind of see why, because she has got that knack of finding herself in, as she did against Rosenborg, finding herself in the right place at the right time, and she does score goals from that position. And I can see why she gets as much minutes as she does, and I can see why Jonas kind of is one of her go-to players, isn't she? Definitely Frida Marnham is. And I don't think it's going to be easy for Rosa to get ahead of her in the team to begin with. They're different sort of players, aren't they? They are different type of players. I mean, Frida is nowhere near as creative as Rosa, but maybe Frida's a little bit better in she's improved a lot in the defensive side of her game, which maybe Rosa is going to have to maybe work a little bit more on positional and stuff like that. But let's see. It's good that we've got the options, isn't it? Because we know Frida can come off the bench as well and have an impact, score a goal. We know that Rosa can make an impact whether she starts or comes off the bench. So it's great to have those options, isn't it? And to me, I'm not necessarily, I think Jonas said something a year or so ago, and he said there's a starting 11 and there's a finishing 11, and both are equally important. And which players are in which 11 doesn't matter too much if it's the right ones at the right time. So who starts and who's on the bench isn't necessarily the important thing. The important thing is getting that balance right, making the changes at the right time, which sometimes Jonas still needs to learn to do. But having those options is so important, isn't it? And I'm sure that as the season progresses, we'll start to see that the maybe favoured starting 11 and the more favoured finishing 11, and that will probably be how it will go. But let's see what happens. And says they're interesting, Greg, but Frida's tried and tested. No, exactly, yeah. You can see, I can see why she gets picked as much as she does. I like Frida. Is she the greatest player in the world? No, of course she's not. She's got her faults and her flaws. Of course she has. I agree, but she brings something to the team, and she's an important player for us, either starting or from the bench. So, But I like to have. I would rather we're discussing who should start ahead of who, rather than knowing what the team's going to be and thinking what is, a little bit like the men's team. I don't want to talk about the men's team too much, but with the men's team, you've got to start at 11 and you worry after that. With the women now, you don't have that problem because we've almost got 2 starting 11s or 2 11s that are almost as good as each other. You can mix and match it, and I'm quite comfortable with that. So I'm not worried. I like to have these problems. I'd rather have those problems and be worried every single time a player gets injured, thinking we can't replace them. What do we do? So it's a good problem, isn't it? Darren says there, Stina and Rosa will start plenty if we are competing on 4 fronts. We need the squad this year. Absolutely. No, yeah, you're right. Of course we do. And I'm sure they both will start lots of games. And that's probably one of the reasons why Stina's stayed and started a new contract, because she knows she's going to get game time. Darren says, Greg, problem is Jonas has his favourites. He does. And he's the manager. And I think all managers do. But the fact we've got such competition now and such hopefully a busy season, challenging on four tournaments, as you said there, Darren. He's going to have to use. I mean, he said it himself, didn't he, after the Rosenborg game, talking about the schedule. He said we need the squad, and let's hope that he uses the squad as well, because we've got the quality and he needs to use it. Don't stick to the same 11 players every single game starting. He needs to rotate it a little bit, but we've got the players to do it now. So I'm happy with where we are at the moment, definitely. And says, Greg, of course he does. So does Arteta. Well, Arteta's got his favourite 11, hasn't he? That's it, really. But anyway, we don't want to depress ourselves too much thinking about that at the moment, do we? Mr. Big Pierce says, I think we are overreacting to Rosa Kafaji. I don't think she's even better than Aggie Beaver-Jones and Jess Park. Oh, that's a big statement there. I mean, obviously, Jess Parker and Aggie Beaver-Jones have got experience with the WSL and Rosa hasn't. I mean, I think it's far too... are we overreacting? I mean, I think that's a fair point. We don't really know yet because we haven't seen enough of her. What we've seen of her is exciting and we want to see more of her. And I think that by halfway through the season, maybe by Christmas, I think we'll have a lot more of an idea of the type of impact that she's having. But don't forget, she's young and she's going to improve anyway. So let's not... Yeah, okay, let's not overreact. I accept that. Let's keep our feet on the ground, but let's not overreact in the other way if she has a couple of bad games where she doesn't have much impact early on because she is young. And let's not say, well, she's not as good as Jess Park. No, but Jess Park's played in England all her life. We've got Rosa Kafaji coming into a new country at a young age. She's going to have to adapt. So I think we need to look at it as well. But, I don't want to compare her to anybody yet. I want to see her play 10, 15 games for us and see how good she is. And then we can think about that. I mean, what do you make of that comment, Andreas, about are we overreacting to Rosa? It is very early days, of course. Maybe we are a little bit.
Maybe, but what we saw in the preseason matches, gets us exciting of what she can bring to the team. And for the other 2 names, I think Aggie Beaver-Jones was 1 season on loan at Everton. She has 1 full season at Chelsea where she played a lot, and she plays a different position. She's more a striker, and I agree she had a great season, and I see her as a addition for the Lionesses squad. Aggie Beaver-Jones is really, really talented, but she's going through her 3rd season in the WSL now, and Rosa is going to her 1st. And Jess Park, the same situation. I think also she had her breakthrough 2 seasons ago. Last season she was playing a lot. You can't compare these situations, and it's different positions. But I expect a lot from Rosa, and I see her starting a lot of games during the season. Maybe not at the beginning. Let's see. We had a similar situation last season. We were so excited when we signed Kyra Cooney-Cross, and she made a few matches, and then she was on the bench for a very long period, and coming from the bench for 10, 15 minutes. Now she grabbed her chance in this preseason just because Wally was not ready back from her injury, and now. After the first matches, you can't take Kyra out at the moment. She has done nothing wrong. So why would you take her out? She earned her place in the team. It's her 2nd season, she only had a half of a season. I think did we sign her in January or last summer? I don't remember at the moment.
Summer, I think it was.
Okay, and then it's her second season now, and she's settled in the team. She's settled in the WSL. Give Rosa the time, and she will be very important for the team.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree with that. Yeah, and I think sometimes with a young player that's coming from a different league, a different country, some of them can take a little bit of time to adapt and adjust. And I don't think we should have too much. We don't want to throw too much expectation on Rosa too quickly for that reason, and we don't want it to look, oh my God, she's not having the impact that we thought she would. Doesn't mean she never will. It just means that she might need a bit of time. And I'm sure Jonas will manage her well, and I'm sure he'll give her the minutes when she's ready and stuff like that. But let's see. I'm excited we've got her, and let's hope that she can settle quickly and have the impact that we know she can be capable of, because she's a very talented player. There's no question. She's a talented footballer, and let's hope that it works well for her. But yeah, let's not be comparing her to other players quite yet, because she's not even played in the league for us yet, has she? So let's hang fire on that. But yeah, if she can, if you can go on and adapt and do well, we're all going to be happy, aren't we? Whether or not she ends up being as good as Aggie Beaver-Jones or Jess Park or whatever, it doesn't matter. As long as she does a great job for us and she's a great player and we like watching her play and she's helping us be successful, that's all that matters, really, isn't it, ultimately, as opposed to anything else. Greg says, that's why we should give the women the money and not let our waste hundreds of millions of pounds. Well, no, I kind of agree with the sentiment of that, but the difference is the women's game isn't generating the same amount of money, is it, as the men's game does? And that's the issue. I mean, it's all very well said. I personally would say, well, look, the men's team have had far too much money, so let's use some of that men's money to boost the women's team. And I would definitely do that if it was my decision, but I can see why that won't happen, because the women's game has got to be self-funding itself. It can't rely on, yes, you need to be part of the men's club and enjoy all the greatness that brings, but ultimately the women's team and the women's club on their own have got to be independent and be able to use the money that they're generating themselves, as opposed to using money from the Premier League. I mean, that's how I want it to be going forward, because that's more sustainable, isn't it? So that's what needs to happen. But yeah, I personally would give them 600 million pounds to spend on players and build the best squad ever and win every game 25-0. But until the women's team and women's football can generate that, and we're doing the best that we can with the crowds that we get and the money that we're generating ourselves, it's going to come. There's no question about that, and it's only a matter of time. But we just need to be a little bit more patient, don't we? And but I agree with the sentiment anyway, Greg, even though it's never going to happen. Mr. Big Pierce says Chelsea have transitioned from Ingle to Nuskin and Capitan, and we are still dependent on Volti and Little. Guys, aren't you worried? I wouldn't say worried would be the right term. I'm a little bit concerned that Leah Volti and Kim Little get injuries quite a lot and miss a lot of games, and we don't seem to have quite enough depth yet. But they're both still players at the top of their game. And, I think Leah Volti and Kim Little are better than Ingo and G anyway. So that's not a worry for me. Are they better than Nushkin and Capitan? We'll see, because they're both new into Chelsea, really, aren't they? So let's see how that works out. But I'm not necessarily worried about that at the moment. I mean, Andreas, would you say that that's an issue? We are still relying on those two players that are in their 30s now and obviously not going to get any better or any younger. And they will need to be replaced, obviously. And I think Kyra and Vicky have been bought for that reason long term, haven't they? So I think we are transitioning. We haven't quite got there yet because, unfortunately, Vicky's injured. But I mean, do you kind of agree with that? That maybe we should have been making that transition sooner?
Yeah, maybe we should have done this 2 or 3 seasons ago and tried to find replacements. But if that was missed, this opportunity, well, we can't change the situation as it is now. The problem is Wally and Kim are very injury prone during the last years, and I think we spoke about it in our last show or the show before. I don't think they will play 20 or 30 matches a season. No. They will get smaller knocks or niggling injuries that keep them out for 2-3 weeks, hopefully not longer. But yeah, Kim Little is still the center of everything in our team, and yeah, how in such small spaces she keeps the ball. She never seems to lose a ball, or it's just fantastic. Her movements in these tight spaces, it's like no other. And of course, yeah, this weekend I read Kim Little is a player people go to the stadium to see her live, to see her playing. Yes, that's true. Yeah, she's one of a kind, and she will be deeply missed when she retires. But we have her, and at the moment she's fit, no injuries. Let's hope it stays as long as possible, because she's the center of everything in our team. For Wally, I have to say that the preseason Kyra had, it brought Kyra into the team, and right now, right at the moment, I wouldn't take her out and bring Wally at the starting. No, not at the moment. And this shows there is a development in the team, and we have the squad to replace them. Unfortunately, the Vicky Pelova situation is, there's one alternative less, but we are not so relying or dependent on Kim and Wally as we were in the last seasons. Of course, we need to replace them, and we always must remember they will not play 5 years or 7 years or so. They will play 1, 2, maybe 3 years. Kim, 1 year, 2 years. Yeah, it's difficult, but we are on the way to replace them.
Yeah, and it's obvious that has to happen. I mean, it's funny that you didn't mention there about Chelsea not transitioning from Millie Bright, who is just as important a player for Chelsea as Kim Little is for Arsenal. And you're not saying, well, why haven't Chelsea moved on from Millie Bright? They haven't moved on from Millie Bright is because Millie Bright is still such an important player for them, and Kim Little is still such an important player for us. And you don't move a player on or replace them while they're still so important, do you? Yes, you have to have a plan in place. Of course you do, because Kim, as any player really, they're one bad injury. Well, certainly at her age, she's one bad injury away from her career being over. Of course she is, because she won't have the time to make the recovery that some of the other players do. But while she's here, while she's playing, she's so important that you don't necessarily have to think about replacing her yet, because she's still here and she's still contributing to the top level, and I say Chelsea haven't got a replacement for Millie Bright because Millie Bright is still an important player for them, even though she's had a few injuries herself and last year or so, as we've seen. So yeah, I'm not necessarily worried about that particularly. Greg says all the time we've got Kim, we're blessed. Exactly, yeah, we are, absolutely. So yeah, at this moment in time, I think the Leah Walty situation is slightly different, and mainly that's because she maybe can be replaced. And as we've said with Kyra's performances and Vicky's performances last season, it looks as though she can be. I'm not sure Kim Little can be replaced yet, because I don't think there's any other player anywhere that can do what Kim Little does. Still, despite the advance in age, shall we say, not that she's old, but she's not a young player. Mr. Big Pierce says there, guys, it's 2024 and we're still relying on Little. It's not 2012. Yeah, no, but I say Chelsea are still relying on Millie Bright, and they're a similar sort of age, aren't they? They've been around for a long time and they're still important players. And we're relying on Kim Little because Kim Little is still a fantastic player and she's still contributing massively to the team. If she wasn't, if suddenly her impact was becoming less and less, then obviously you look at, well, we need to replace her in the team. But while she's still having the impact that she's having, it's crazy to think of getting rid of her now. While she's fit, as Greg said, we're blessed to have her. So while she's fit, you play her. And it's not a matter of, we're still relying on a player that we've had for such a long time. Well, yeah, we're not relying on her. She's playing because she's the captain of the team and she's still a very, very good player, exceptional player. So it's a no-brainer, isn't it? You keep her, you put her in the team and you build everything around her, which is what we do. And I don't see there's anything wrong with that. Even if it is 2024, it doesn't make any difference. While she can still do that job, Let's keep her. Absolutely. Darren says 10 more years. I don't know about 10 more years, but hopefully a few more yet. 2 or 3 more yet. Certainly, I'm sure we will. And says Captain Kimmy, our penalty taker, plus currently our captain. Yeah, of course. And she's so important, isn't she? And I don't really want to think about a time when she's not playing, because she is the sort of player that you just cannot replace, and that's the way it is, isn't it? But anyway, that's sort of where we are. Greg says the problem with that, Rich, is Arsenal keep saying we are all one club. Chelsea are using the men's money. They haven't got the support we've got. No, exactly. This is what I'm saying. So we're always going to be more sustainable anyway, aren't we? And as long as we do things in the right way, then I think we need to set an example of the right way to do it, to be successful. And the women's team independently support. They're part of the same club, of course they are, and it's important that they are. They use the same training facilities, they share everything, and that's the way it should be. But they also need to be separate entities in terms of what they're generating, in terms of revenue and what they can spend and how they grow. And obviously the support that we've got is going to enable us to do that ahead of anybody else. And Chelsea might want to cheat and use money that the men's team are generating. And there's no rules, I don't think, in place to stop that necessarily that I'm aware of. And we could do the same, but I would rather we do things properly. We constantly have a gripe about Man City, the way they've gone about doing the success that they've had. I wouldn't want us to go and do the same thing, and then we'd almost be hypocritical, wouldn't we? Let's do it the right way, and let's be successful, but do it the right way. And then we can look down everybody else and say, we will never feel like Man City feel, because ultimately they know they've got there by the wrong way. No matter how much success they have, it'll always be slightly tainted. I want us to have success that we can look back on, all of us, and we can be proud about what we've done and how we've done it. And that would be the dream, isn't it? And Arsenal should be looking at doing that, because Arsenal have got that class. That's what we are, and I'm hoping that's what we do. I mean, I'm sure that some of the money will go through into the. I'm sure it has already. I'm sure it has, but I would rather try to keep the business side of things a little bit separate for the time being, and then eventually I think it will just be one big club, absolutely. And the men's and women's games will be generating the same amount of money each anyway. TV revenue will be the same, sponsorships will be the same, money through the turnstiles will be the same, although that would mean the price of tickets going up for women's game, which I don't want to see yet. It will happen eventually, inevitably. Unfortunately it will, but while it isn't, we need to make the most of that as well. But yeah, let's I want us to lead the way in the right way and be the example for other clubs to follow, and not go down what I would consider to be slightly cheating route of using money that the women's team hasn't generated to boost the women's game. I don't think that, to me, that's not really the right way. But let's not use Chelsea as an example of how to run a football club, looking at what's been going on over there for the last 20 odd years. So, we should be better than that and above that kind of level, shouldn't we? But what we need to do is we need to give a score prediction, because we won't be having a show now until after the Hacken games have been done. So we need to give a score prediction now, because we won't get a chance to do it. So, Andreas, don't worry about each individual game, but what about overall, the aggregate score? What is your prediction for the aggregate score against Hacken? Are we going through, and what will score?
Of course, we're going through. The aggregate score line. As I said, I see a draw coming away at Hacken and winning at home. So we're winning at home 2-0, and we're playing away at Hacken 1-1. So it's aggregate 3-1 for us. Would be okay. I would take any result if we're going through to the group stage.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Even a nervy extra time or penalty shootout, if it brings us through, okay. But for our nerves, for the nerves of the team, it would be better to go through in 90 minutes at Meadow Park, and we will.
Yeah, no, I agree. I say this all the time. Any win in a game, or technically a knockout game, I know it's 2 legs, but it's a knockout game. Any win is all that we need. I don't really care if we win, as Greg says there. He's gone aggregate will be 6-1. That 6-1 will be fantastic, absolutely brilliant. I'm not necessarily worried what the score is, as long as we've gone through at the end of it. I don't really want penalties, if I'm honest, because we obviously got knocked out on penalties last year, and the Champions League. We don't want to do that again. But I think we'll be over 2 legs. I think we'll be too strong for Häcken. I really do. I think we've got, yes, okay, they're more into their season, but I think we've got the momentum now. We've got the that off our back, haven't we? The qualifying group last season we got knocked out of. We've overcome that. We've put that to bed, and I think that we can go into this game a little bit more of a relaxed attitude than maybe we went into this last couple of games. So I think we'll do it. I actually think we'll win the away leg. Actually, I think that there's a pressure on Häcken at home. They know coming to Meadow Park, they know they're going to have to win that game to have any chance of going through, really, don't they? They're going to have to win, and I think that's going to play into our hands. I think that we'll be able to play on the counter attack. I think we've got the players to cause them problems. I think we'll go away and win. I don't think we'll win easily. I think it'll be a tight game. We maybe win 2-1 away, and then it will set us up for at home. And I think it might be a difficult game at home, even though we're winning. But I think we'll go through. I'm gonna go 3-2 on aggregate. I think we'll win 3-2 on aggregate, but we'll go through, and it'll be happy days, and it'll be a great night at Meadow Park, I'm sure, in the second leg. And says away win, but take a draw. Yeah, I mean, I'll take a draw, absolutely. You know. But let's see how the game plays out first. I don't like to say I'll take a draw, because if we play really, really well, we dominate the game, have 50 chances and don't win, then I wouldn't take a draw because I'm frustrated. If it's a tight game, could go either way, we maybe nick a late goal and get a 1-1, then obviously you're over the moon, aren't you? You'll take that draw all day long. I think we can go there and win, and I think we will go there and win, but I think it'll be tight and it'll be tough. Mr. Big Pier says, I'm not impressed with Russo. She misses chances for fun. Well, she's missed a few, but I think what she brings to the team is important. So I don't necessarily, I would say, I want her to score more goals. I mean, she scored 16 in the end last season, which was good. And a lot of them were scored in the second half of the season. She scored a lot more, didn't she? She settled in. I want to see her get 20 goals this season, definitely, in all competitions. I want to see her score more. But what she brings to the team is great. And obviously, we've got Stina, who's going to score 20 goals anyway, probably, if she gets on the pitch enough. So if Russo doesn't score that number of goals, Stina will. And between them, that's fine. So, you know what I mean? I'm not worried about Russo. I think she's playing well. I think she brings a lot to the team. I'd like to see her score more goals. I would, absolutely. And I'm sure she will this season. I'm sure she'll get more than the 16 she got last season. I know, Andreas, you love Russo, don't you? You wouldn't be unimpressed with Alessi Russo, would you?
Yeah, of course. I hope she will have a good season. And I think the good thing in this season is she can play more in the box as a number 9, because there will be more deliveries for her from Mariona and from Frida Arosa, and if Beth is fit from this side, there will be, I hope there will be more deliveries, more crosses, and creating more situations for her in the box. Last season, at least in the first part of the season, she had the problem that she didn't get enough balls or situations in the box, and she had to drop deeper. We saw in the second part of the season when she was really settled in the team how her qualities are, and she scored important goals and really brilliant goals. It's not that she just uses the small things, or she can score from every position, in the box, outside the box. She's strong with the head. I hope she has a great season, and I really trust her and think her first season was good, and her second season with the Arsenal will be even better. I really trust in this.
Yeah, no, I do. You could see last season she was getting better and better as the season went on, and I think that will carry on into this season, definitely. So I'm not worried about Alessi Russo at all. I think she brings a lot to the team, and that's what it's about. Darren says, have faith. Our team is awesome. It is awesome. I agree with you. That's definitely true. Also, Mr. Big Pier says, we need to be ruthless as a club if we are to win the league as a bare minimum. Yeah, I mean, ruthless, but by being ruthless isn't necessarily leaving out one of your best players, isn't it? You know, it's about doing, getting the best out of every player. and I'm sure that's what's going to happen. Greg says Russo is excellent holding the ball up. She's strong, very rarely loses the ball. Exactly, yeah. I say what she brings to the team isn't just out and out goals, is it? I mean, I love Stina, but she mainly just brings goals. She doesn't bring a lot else. Yes, she gets the odd assist here and there, and I'm not saying she's not a great player, because she is. I think Leslie Russo brings more to the team overall. So if she's not maybe scoring as many goals, that's not so much of a problem, because Stina will score the goals. So that's fine. Between the two of them, that they're the best all-round player, aren't they? Because you've got Stina's goals and you've got Leslie Russo's all-round play and hold up play and all this kind of stuff. So yeah. Mr. Big Piers says, I don't think we did enough in the transfer window. Well, if we get one more, I don't think you can say that. I personally am happy with it, to be honest with you. Darren says, is it too early to bang the Jonas out drum? It's definitely too early, of course. Said he just, no, we know he was joking. Yeah, I mean, let's see what happens against Hacken first, because if we lose to Hacken, then I think there might be, that drum might well start to get beaten by certain people, I'm sure. But I'm fairly confident we'll go through, and that'll be that. Now, of course, we can't, the show at the minute is a little bit up in the air. We're having to fit things around everybody's life. And of course, Andreas, being the international jet setter that he is of course flying around all over the place and stuff like that. So of course, next Friday, which is when we wanted to do the show, of course, to preview the Man City game, Andreas will be flying over to London, so he won't be available to do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a quick look into the Man City game now. I know it's a little bit early and we've got Hacken first, but that's just what's happening. And we will be back a week on Friday with a big show, obviously looking back on the Hacken games, looking back on Man City game, previewing Leicester and all that sort of stuff. So before we go, we do need to have a look ahead to, and we're playing Man City the first game of the season. And for something seems to be in my head that maybe someone we know might be returning, but I'm not too sure. Yes, of course, the first game of the season, it was always going to be something special, and it is going to be something special, regardless of the Viv situation. It's Man City, one of the top teams in the league. They almost won the title. In fact, we stopped them winning the league, didn't we, essentially, by winning that game away, and the second from last game of the season. So I'm sure they are going to want to put that right. They did knock us out of the FA Cup as well, didn't they? So, we kind of got a bit of revenge for that. And of course, they got drawn against Paris FC in the Champions League. Now, as we've said, I think that's a tougher game than what we've got. So that is in between, those two legs are in between this game as are ours. So both teams have got that on their mind going into the league game, because the first leg will be over. Both teams will know how they've done and what needs to be done. But it's a strange sort of situation in some ways, isn't it? Having those two legs in between this massive game as well. I mean, Arsenal against Manchester City in the WSL now is a big game. It can be a title deciding game. Whoever wins that game, that's 3 points that you've gained on a big rival. So, we played Chelsea in the first game a couple of years ago. We beat them. And that, although we didn't win the league that season, it did set us up for a real good go at it, didn't it? A real good challenge. And I think the same can happen again. I think if we can beat Man City at the Emirates, then I really do feel that will put us in such a good frame, especially if we do get past Hacken as well. I think that will be the perfect start to the season. We really do need to build from there, and I think we will. But it's not going to be easy. Man City are a great team. They've got great players. And it is going to be difficult, isn't it? Absolutely. Darren says Cody will have Viv in her pocket. Let's hope so. I hope you're right. I'm sure she will do very well. Greg says their problem now, Andreas is a lord. He has all these functions to go to. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're very, very lucky to have him here anytime. So we have to make the most of it, because, I'm sure he's going to be very busy in the next year, now he's got this new title. But yeah, I mean, obviously the Man City game is going to be difficult. We know that it's a tough game, but yeah. I actually, at the moment, I'm pretty upbeat about it. I actually think we can win. It won't be easy, of course, but how are you feeling about it, Andreas? Obviously, we know the Viv thing. We mustn't let the Viv thing become a distraction to the game, though, because it's a massively important game. And to be honest with you, I don't really care about Viv anymore. She was brilliant for us, but she's left, and she now plays for a rival of ours. And you know, I don't really care how good a season she has or how bad a season she has. Hopefully she might have a bad season because it might mean Man City don't do as well, and it means that we can finish above them. I know that might sound harsh after, you know, inside I still love him, of course, but now she's left Arsenal, I don't really care. I don't want her to do well because I want Arsenal to do well, and I don't want it to be a distraction next weekend because the game's too important to let that become a distraction. You know, yes, if you want to cheer her when she comes out onto the pitch and all that kind of stuff, get it out of the way, but then don't think about her. Think about how Arsenal are playing and how we can beat Man City. That's my view. Other people might disagree. Other people might want to have big, massive banners about Viv. And if you do, that's fair enough. I don't think that's helpful, if I'm honest, because I think it's a massive game and we need to be all the fans, everyone in the ground needs to be focused on getting behind the team to win that game. And if it means Viv has a bad day, and that's just tough luck. Sorry, Viv. It's tough luck. I mean, Andreas, I know you love Viv, and I know she was one of the reasons why you got involved in Arsenal in the first place, because, you know, and I understand it's maybe different for you, but I don't. Do you think that could become a distraction? The fact that Viv's coming back to the Emirates first game.
No, it's a tough match. No matter who is playing, which names are playing. Arsenal versus Man City. It's a highlight match of the season, and to have this as the opener, it's ridiculous. But of course, TV wants such a highlight match at the start, and and that's a privilege of the champion. I think that Chelsea is not the one involved in this highlight match. They have an easier match to start with, but it's what people want. The third against the second of last season. It's a fantastic match, and according to Viv, it's the first season Viv is not playing for a team that I support. She was 2 years at Bayern Munich and 7 years at Arsenal, so she was always in my team. It will be difficult to see her play in other colors, in blue, against my team, but it's not sure that she is playing. She was at Meadow Park on Wednesday, and when she left the stand, she was limping a bit. So
you didn't kick her, did you, Andreas? You didn't kick her on the way out, did you?
And I don't see her play 3 games within 5 or 6 days. So away at Paris, then at the Emirates, and then at home at Paris. I don't think she will start all 3 matches. So what's more important for City? They the same as for us. They must qualify for the group stage of Champions League, and they will concentrate everything on their match at Paris, and then they will look at the WSL opener. It's good that City has to play these qualifiers too, that they are in the same situation. On the other hand, we had the mini tournament 2 more competitive matches than City had, so we should be in a better flow, and we are playing at home. I think if you ask the City players or the manager what they don't want for starting the WSL, then they would have said away at the Emirates. It's maybe the worst game that they can have for starting the season. They know it will probably be a sellout. 60,000 will be behind Arsenal. It's a difficult situation, difficult match for City, more difficult than for us because we are at home. The pressure is on both teams. Both don't want to lose, and losing this match is more than losing 3 points. The pressure is on both. City has a fantastic squad, and especially the attacking line. You see Lauren Hemp, Bunny Shaw, Chloe Kelly, Mary Fowler, Viv Miedema.
Who? Who was that last one?
Yeah.
Never heard of her.
Yeah, fantastic players, but they had only pre-season, and then their first competitive match is against Paris FC. you don't know how they play under pressure, or yeah, that's an advantage for us. It will be a fantastic match from the quality, from all the players, and what both teams will show us. I'm sure it will be fantastic match, and outstanding atmosphere at the Emirates. In the end, you want a score prediction, and I think from the last 4 matches we won 3 matches with 2-1 against City. Okay, two of them were at Meadow Park, the home matches, but why not another 2-1 for us this time at the Emirates? It would be a fantastic start. Yeah, I go for 2-1.
2-1 would be fantastic. Absolutely right. We would love a 2-1. There's no doubt about that. Any victory will do me. As I say, I'm happy to win 1-0 as long as we win. But yeah, let's see what happens. Darren has gone, I think, 1-1 draw. I mean, that wouldn't be a surprise, I suppose. I mean, that wouldn't necessarily be a disaster for either team. A point each, probably they would be more happy with that than we would. Obviously, us being at home, as Andreas said, we've got that advantage. But I wouldn't necessarily be again, I suppose it depends on how the game goes. I'd always look on a draw and think some draws you're delighted to get because you may be a bit lucky and you're grateful. Other draws, you know you should win and you're frustrated. And if it's that sort of draw, I won't be very happy necessarily. But in the overall scheme of things, a draw isn't a disaster. And I would probably take a draw if we had to. But I think we can win as well. Mr. Big P says, Man City is now Japanese FC. They've signed so many Japanese players. Well, they've just signed a lot of players anyway, haven't they? But yeah, they've got a few. Greg says, with Cody and Leah and DVD, Viv hasn't a chance. She's not the player she was a few years ago. No, the injuries have had a big impact on that. I was saying the other day, actually, I can't remember the last time Viv had a really good game for us. You know, she's had moments in some games, the game against Liverpool where she's got that goal, and obviously the last game when she came on and got that goal straight away. But I don't remember having a really good game for us, probably before her injury, but even before that. I don't know. She wasn't playing great before that, was she? She didn't seem to be on her best form. So I can't actually remember the last time when I thought to myself, that was a brilliant game from Viv. I can't really remember one for a long time. I mean, Andreas, you might remember maybe a bit more than me, but I can't remember having a really good game for quite a long time.
Yeah, that's correct. But she scored loads of goals, even if she didn't have the best games, even if she was not at her top form. She scored goals, and that's the danger. You can know her. You know how she moves, what she does, what the way she moves, or you can know everything, and she can score although. Because she's so clinical in front of goal. I hope she needs time to get this ability back, and will not show it in the first match right now. But it will be difficult. Of course, it's good that especially Leah knows her perfectly, or Katie McCabe knows her. So it won't be the easiest match for Viv. Because also there's a little pressure, and we know that she is a person who has sometimes mental problems. So this match won't be easy for her from the mental point of view. So yeah, the most terrible thing would be she scores the winning goal against us. That would be really terrible, because the pressure on Jonas then would be immense. But so far I say, I think she will have a good match. Maybe she will have good moments, but nevertheless we will win. Let's believe in our team, and let's believe in this optimism that we will start with a win.
I just hope, and I know it might sound wrong, but I hope our players don't show Viv too much respect. I'm sure Katie McCabe isn't going to stand on ceremony. If a tackle's there to be won, Katie McCabe will go to win it, I'm sure. But I'm hoping that, some of the other players don't think, it's Viv. I hope that we just play our normal game. So I don't want that to be a distraction at all. I don't even want Viv really mentioned too much. I just want us to focus on winning the game. And yeah, let's hope that. I agree with you. I'm sure that we do. Greg says we'll beat City 3-0. Wow, that is a big prediction. I'll take that. That would be fantastic, wouldn't it? You know, that's a similar sort of like Chelsea last season, isn't it? Just absolutely wiping the floor. Well, that would be fantastic. Greg says we won't lose a game at the Emirates this season. Well, no, I kind of agree. I'm not sure we will. I think the crowd and everything else, I think it's going to be an intimidating atmosphere for the visiting teams. And yeah, I agree. I don't think we will. We only lost that one last season, didn't we? Which was the Liverpool one at the start.
Yeah.
And that was it.
So,
yeah, so hopefully we've got that momentum now at the Emirates. And yeah, I agree. I don't think we'll lose at the Emirates. Darren says, do you have to pay him to appear now? I think we're negotiating a new contract now. And that's what we're doing at the moment for the new season. Mr. Big Pierce says, I'm worried about Bunny Shaw. She's a good striker. Absolutely, no, she is. She's a decent player, very good player, scores a lot of goals. But I'm not necessarily worried about anybody. I think we've got the team to do it. Mr. Big P says there, what would be your starting defence? Because for me, Williamson is not in it. Well, Williamson's got to be in it, surely. At the moment, it's got to be Williamson and Cadena, hasn't it? As the two, the two centre backs. That they're our best two centre backs at this moment in time. I wouldn't change that at all. I mean, Andreas, what would your defence be?
I agree that Leah Williamson didn't have her best matches in both Champions League qualifiers. Cadena was the better centre back, but at the moment I don't see how you can take Cody out of the team. It's pity for Lotta. Lotta was the player of the season, and she was outstanding in last season, and even in the time when Leah was not available. Lotta was our rock in defense, and now. Due to this stupid injury she got with her nose in the preseason match, she's out. And Cody took her chance. You can't take her out. So for me, the centre back at the moment is Leah and Cody. But it's good to have a player like Lotta in the back and to be able to bring her on. Even we have Katie Reed, who had a fantastic preseason. So that's good to have such players on the bench.
Absolutely, Katie Reed was brilliant, actually. But yeah, it's got to be Leah and Cody, certainly for the time being. Yeah, we can't change that. It's worked. It's brilliant. And yes, maybe Leah Williamson hasn't been at her best for a while, really. Partly the injury that she's come back from. I think she's got a few distractions outside of football going on in her life now since the injury as well, and maybe her focus is slightly changed a little bit. I mean, I'm not worried about her. She's a fantastic player still, but yeah, that's got to be the starting lineup for me. Absolutely, the defence. Greg says, when was the last time Shaw scored against us? I can't remember. No, I'm not sure actually. I can't actually remember. No, I'm not sure. She must have done. She must have scored against us at some point. I'm sure she has. I can't think off the top of my head. But yeah, so there's a point. And yeah, as a good player as Bunny Shaw is, she doesn't seem to have a very good goal scoring record against us, does she? So I must admit, my favourite Man City player will always be Lauren Hemp because I think she's amazing. And she's the player I'm worried about more than anything because she offers so much to that team. So yeah, obviously Bunny Shaw scores goals, but I think Lauren Hemp is their best player, So I'm more worried about her, but she does score. She has scored against us a few times in the last few seasons as well, Lauren Hemp. So Darren says, of course, the best thing about the upcoming season, no matter what happens, is no Emma Hayes to torment us. Yeah, but it was quite nice beating her in cup finals, wasn't it? To see her face at the end and her reactions and stuff. So I'm going to miss that maybe, but obviously not missing her lording it over us when they win the league and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I suppose there's that side to it as well, isn't it? Darren says no Williamson starting. Exactly. Yeah, I mean I would start her, absolutely. To me, I'd start with Leah Williamson every single game. She might end up playing in midfield a bit more this season, maybe, but we'll see. Mr. Big Pierce says, what happened to hurting? Well, she is hurting because I think she's been injured and she's had a few personal issues as well, I believe. But yeah, I'm not sure if she's ever going to quite make it at Arsenal, is she, Lena Hurtig? But we'll see. Greg says Leah is the best central defender in the world. Yeah, I wouldn't really disagree with that. I'm sure some people would maybe say she's not at the moment, but I love Leah Williamson. She's fantastic. And yeah, if she's fit, she plays. like she does for England. England captain, you know, if she's fit, she plays. She's England captain. Of course, she plays for Arsenal. If she's fit, she plays. Of course, she does. You know, she's the first name on the team sheet. And it's just maybe who plays alongside her at the moment has to be Cody, no doubt. No question. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, you've gone for a 2-1 win. Greg's gone for 3-0. Darren's gone 1-1. I think we'll beat Man City. I'm actually going to go 3-1. And the reason why I'm going 3-1 is because I think that we'll get a late goal on the counter-attack when it's 2-1. Man City will be pressing on, and I think we'll catch them on the counter-attack. We've got the quality there, and I think Stina will do the job again like she did at their ground, and she'll get a late goal, and we'll win 3-1. And it'll be great. So yes, that's what I'm predicting. But we've got to worry about Hacken first, because that's the first game. We need to beat them, get that game sorted, the away game first, and then go and beat Manchester City, which I'm sure we will, because we're at the Emirates, 60,000 fans. You know, of course we're going to beat them. So wouldn't that be a great way to start the season? Get in the Champions League, beat Man City. Happy days, and it'll be brilliant, won't it? So there we go. That is I suppose it's episode 2 of the new season of the Arsenal Women's Show, because of course we did the season preview last week, which was great as well. Darren says their correct score prediction as the beer bought for them at the coroner. Okay, well, yeah, that seems fair enough. But obviously it's not going to be you, because you said 1-1 and we're going to win, so you won't be winning that. You'll be buying the beers for everybody else when Arsenal win, won't you? But yeah, so that's our second show of the season. I say the next one will be a week on Friday, due to, you know, the games obviously playing on a Wednesday, playing on a Thursday night a week after, and you know, Andreas flying all over the world as he does on a regular basis. They'll have the red carpet out now. He's Lord Andreas, of course, but in the hotel next time. I'm sure they've got that sorted already, and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, if you do see Andreas, make sure first of all, obviously, you doff your hat and you bow to him, but do say hello as well at the game if you do see him at the Emirates, of course, next week. But yeah, so yeah, brilliant stuff. Thank you everyone for watching, all your comments as well. We do appreciate that. And I say we'll be back next Friday. But of course, before all that, there is so much more stuff to come. It's ridiculously busy at the minute. Of course, on Sunday, there is a small matter of a North London derby, Tottenham against Arsenal in the Premier League. Of course, Arsenal with a few injury issues, shall we say, a few problems in that game, but I'm sure we'll be good enough to beat Spurs, let's be honest. So I'll be here for that one. It kicks off 2 o'clock Sunday, so I'll be here about 1:45. So join me for that, because it's going to be a lot of fun, I'm sure. Of course, next week, it's a big week. It is, of course, the Hacken game on Wednesday evening. And then, of course, next Sunday is Arsenal Man City twice. That's incredible, isn't it? The women play at 12:30, of course, at the Emirates, and then the men are playing at the Etihad at 4:30. So Arsenal Man City twice in one day. I mean, what more could you want on a Sunday afternoon? So that is next Sunday, of course. And of course, there's a second leg coming up against Hacken. There's men's games in the Champions League, the long-winded Champions League. Obviously, we're going to have some group games for the women in the Champions League, hopefully, as well. So it is going to be incredible, isn't it? So the next few weeks in particular, it's going to be game after game. We're going to get the women's show thrown in as well for you all the way along the line. So loads of great stuff. So please give us a like and do subscribe as well. Darren says there, good show, Les. Take care of yourself, my friend. Do take it easy. We'll see you very soon. Greg says, great show as always. Lord Andreas can go and sort his busy social diary. Exactly, yeah. All these big appointments that, once you become a Lord, your life changes forever. It won't be the same as it used to be.
I'm waiting.
You'll have to get used to all the new attention that you're going to get from obviously being a Lord. So yeah, we'll be back a week on Friday, but I'll be here on Sunday, of course. So join me for that, because obviously it's Tottenham, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So that will be good. So yeah, a big weekend of football coming up. Before it's a little, we'll have the big build-up in North London derby, then we'll have a few days to recover. Then, of course, it's the women taking over on Wednesday against Hacken, and, of course, on next Sunday afternoon against Man City. Well, what a busy time it is. What a great part of the season it is. The start of the season is always good, isn't it? Everyone's excited. You've got lots to play for. You know you can win everything still. So let's enjoy it while we can, because no doubt in a few weeks' time we'll be sitting here quite sad that we've got knocked out of everything. The season's over, and no, it's not going to happen. That is not going to happen. So yeah, thank you obviously to Lord Andreas for gracing us with his presence on this evening, and I'm sure we will see you very, very soon. Don't forget, if you haven't done so, check out Andreas's vlogs for them 2 Champions League games, because they are brilliant. and I'm sure there'll be a lot more coming as well from Andreas this season from
Man City game, of course, yeah.
Man City game indeed. So yeah, so definitely check that out. It's on the channel. Brilliant stuff. And there'll be a lot more of that to come. So yeah, brilliant. So thanks to Andreas for doing that. Have you enjoyed the show again, Andreas, tonight? It's been a busy one, hasn't it?
Of course, I enjoyed the show, and I like to discuss everything and what a week we are facing. Hacken, Man City, Hacken again, and then hopefully the draw for the Champions League. I think it might be on Friday, a few hours before our show. So it would be a lot to discuss then. Looking forward to everything that's coming, and if our viewers like it, there will be another match day blog from the City match from me, and looking forward to everything. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's always a pleasure. I say even more so now. I mean, the whole level of the channel's just gone up, hasn't it? That we've got a Lord on the show on a regular basis. Brilliant. So thank you, of course, to Andreas. Thank you to you guys for watching. Thanks to all your comments and stuff like that. I will see you on Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your week and whatever you're doing. Have fun, and I will see you Sunday. Come on, you Gunners. Come on, you Gunners.